Epstein survivors are reeling after Attorney General Pam Bondi failed to apologize or even look at them during a highly contentious hearing on Capitol Hill this week. Epstein survivor Jess Michaels, who was in that room, told me a short time ago she was crushed.
She could have very easily taken control of that time in the hearing, turned around, taken responsibility for the egregious errors done in this release, damaging, painful, life-shattering errors done by her Department of Justice, the Department of Justice that she is in charge of. And she let us down. She let the American people down. It was a devastating moment.
Joining me now is Vicky Ward, investigative journalist extraordinaire and executive producer of Discovery Plus's Chasing Ghislaine. So, Vicky, there you had Attorney General Bondi walking into the room with a so-called burn book of prepared insults. But Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says that Bondi was thrown off when she asked her to apologize. Turn around, apologize to the victims. How are you judging the fallout from Pam Bondi's performance this week? And did her performance give you any sense of how she led the agency through this botched compliance with the Epstein Transparency Act?
Yeah, well, I think it was very revealing, Alex, on a number of levels. I did hear from a couple of Trump donors that, they were deeply unimpressed by Pam Bondi's performance in that hearing, because it would have been so easy politically for her to turn around and acknowledge the survivors. It would have, and she wouldn't have lost anything, because as was pointed out, even by Democrats in that hearing, the perversion of justice that has gone on with Jeffrey Epstein is bipartisan. It's gone under, it's went on for over 20 years under different presidencies. She's there to fix it. That's what the release of these files is meant to be about. So it would have cost her nothing to have turned to them and said, I see you, I hear you, we're going to make sure that you get justice and this doesn't ever happen again. Been easy. But no, instead, she went on offense. And it's what I have always felt all along since Pam Bondi started talking about the Epstein files and saying that they were on her desk, which we know is just not true. I mean, there are millions and millions of these files. Of course, they were not on her desk, is that she was taking her lead from her boss, Donald Trump, who, as we know, is completely disinterested, it would seem, in the Epstein files, never mind that it was his team, so to speak, that campaigned on this. He has been totally disinterested, seeing it as a completely a fight that's become completely politicized in his view by the Democrats. And Pam Bondi, it seems to me, has followed in that disinterest, delegated it out, and wants to take no part of responsibility for the complete incompetence and suffering it has caused to the victims whose identities this rollout has revealed.
I'm curious, Vicky, because you produced that documentary on Epstein's convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. Can you guess what's going through her mind as all of these documents are being exposed?
Well, I think Ghislaine Maxwell has got nothing to lose at this point in time, and she's probably looking for anything in there that will give her leverage. There's nothing in there that I've seen, but we do know from her habeas corpus filing that, as part of her appeal, and we know that she either wants an appeal or she wants Trump to pardon her. She talks about these 25 men who she claims were Epstein co-conspirators, and she claims made private settlements when they saw that he was indicted, and then she was indicted and indeed convicted. So I have to imagine that her lawyers, I'm not sure she has access to a laptop in, the Club Fed that she's at, but I have to imagine that they are combing through those files, looking to see if there's anything in there that could be helpful to her. I must say, in all the files that I've looked through, I have not found it. And I think, going back to what you were asking me about Pam Bondi, I think one of the things that was so horrendous, to me, to everybody, to the survivors particularly, about the optics of Pam Bondi, was that, yet again, it was shades of Maxwell, obviously very different, but you had a woman ignoring, a woman in power, ignoring vulnerable women. And that's exactly what Ghislaine Maxwell did when she was grooming those survivors. And it's very galling, I think, for women in particular to have to watch.
Indeed. Vicki, I'm going to have you back because you have dug very deep in Ghislaine Maxwell's role in all of this. And I'm going to have you back, and we're going to focus on that because your reporting has been extraordinary on it. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, my friend.